The college basketball experience Gonzaga Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Use the promo code NFC Beast for 15% off. Active until the Eagles or Giants lose their next game. And let me tell you, they have some absolutely fantastic college edition t-shirts there, campus edition t-shirts. So check those out and make sure you enter our World Series prop contest. Winner gets $200 cash and a $200 SGPN gift card to the merch store. Enter today exclusively on the SGPN app, which you can get for free in the App Store or Google Play Store. So grab that thing today. And folks, remember always with us to let it ride.
What's up, everybody? This is Cameron Krog from Loyola Chicago Ramblers, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride. Shout out to the Broad Stop. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Gonzaga Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh, man, talking Bulldog basketball. Take us to the kennel. Let's go. Great name for a stadium. Look, they're a classic example. You don't need to have some stadium with 100,000 fucking people or whatever number. I like it. Just keep what you got going. It's fantastic. I am joined by my co-host and former video coordinator for Bob Huggins. Yeah, only a Hall of Fame coach. Don't worry about it, folks. Give it up for host of the NBA game. Behind the scenes with the NBA Gambling Podcast, host of the NFL Gambling Podcast, host of the Ryan and Rush Show. Give it up for my guy Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, Ryan?
Colby, I'm doing good. Ready to talk a little Zags in the Great Northwest.
Oh man, I mean, when you look at this program, I know they've gotten to the Natty twice in the past decade, but man, I mean, they've lost 7 games in the past 3 years. 7 games in the past 3 years. You know, and this, you can make a case that this could be their best team yet. So I'd like to see them get that Natty at some point. But Mark Few doing an unbelievable job. When you look at first off, look at this record when I throw this up on the screen. Remember, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. 658 and 129 in 23 years with the Dogs there in Spokane. Spokane. I don't ever fucking remember. Shout out to their fan base though. Great fan base. And I mean, look, they haven't had a double-digit loss season in over a decade. All right. And they have been, I mean, they were not including the COVID year, because we didn't have a tournament. They have been to the NCAA tournament every single year since 1998. I mean, that's incredible. And I remember watching this. Obviously, I know John Stockton went there back in the day. I remember watching them in the mid-90s when Dan Fitzgerald was just starting to get the team together. And then and look at them now. Wow. They're like Boise State in basketball. But you know, obviously Boise State doesn't have a real playoff, so they can't go that far. But Boise State's been so dominant since like the late 90s. I see the parallels there in the Pacific Northwest. What do you make of Mark Few, and what do you make of Gonzaga basketball, man?
They're a machine. They're a juggernaut. I mean, you mentioned it. They haven't been not past the first round since 2008. So they've won at least one game in the NCAA tournament every single year for the last 15 years. And the year that got canceled in COVID, they only were 31-2 as well that year. So
they might have won it all that year, man. Tough breaks, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned it, Suggs, Holmgren. I mean, you can go all the way back to the Adam Morrison days. This program, it just keeps reloading. In a way, they've turned kind of into like the new Duke in a way.
Yeah, and I just hope they can they need to get the monkey off the back and get the natty. And maybe it would have happened the COVID year. I know Dayton fans are still mad. San Diego State fans are still mad. They thought they might have been able. Even Baylor fans are still mad. They thought they might have been able to get the back-to-back going. But the Zags should have beat Carolina. We talked about that pre-episode right before we hit record. We're like, man, they let them off the hook, and then they ran into a Baylor team that was a complete buzzsaw. Bad matchup for them. But I think if you're a Zags fan, I mean, first off, you should be thrilled that you're even in this point. But let's take the next step. You take a look at the numbers from a season ago, and I mean, I've been up there right by the stadium. Went to a couple bars there. I'd like to get up there for a basketball game. I know we have some fans that have been inviting me. One of these, maybe this year we have to take advantage of that. We have to figure something out, but. 28-4 last season, 13-1 in conference, 25-13 ATS. How about that? How about that right there? 66% just about from a gambling point of view. Vegas loves, or not Vegas. Vegas hates. We love Gonzaga. Third in the nation in adjusted offense, 10th in adjusted defense. So those numbers are always so key when trying to look for a national championship team. 28th in 3-point percentage, 146 in offensive rebounding, 25th in defensive rebounding, 183rd in free throw shooting, 5th in pace. So they're like obviously you do the Virginias, the Texas Techs and stuff. And I mean, they're like 350th in pace. I almost feel like teams in the middle of the pack never go far. It's either you got to be up tempo or you got to be slow. 34th in the nation in turnover rate. Any of those numbers jump out at you? I mean, I feel like they're kind of predictable in a way just because we know how good they are.
Yeah, no, they're elite offensively, and you could take it a step further. Effective field goal percentage, they're first, obviously. I mean, with Timmy, and then they had Holmgren last year, the year before that, Suggs, and they're bringing back much from that team last year. And it's just going to be another year where they're electric offensively. And I think that they've taken steps forward defensively in the last couple of years, where I thought that's why they couldn't get past the second weekend for a little bit there. But they've gotten better defensively, especially at protecting the rim.
Yeah, and Chet Holmgren is gone, Andrew Nembhard gone as well. But I'm not even panicking. And they're a classic example, by the way, of the benefits of the NIL. I know certain people are crazy saying, it's ruining college athletics. Well, that I don't know if you guys caught the Lendell White, the USC former the running back for USC on the Barstool episode, talking about he walks into like a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown LA. It wasn't his name. There was $150,000 on the couch, and that was just one of many installments. Well, the same can be said for college basketball. So to me, why not have it above the table? And you're seeing examples like Drew Timme or Armando Bacot at North Carolina coming back because they can make money and they can make, and the health of college basketball does get better. And I think, you could have a renaissance back to, if you ask every old school person, they're like, hey, even like my older brothers, my dad, like the 80s in college basketball, the players stayed 4 years. Well, the NIL, you're looking at Drew Timme and Armando Bacot. All right. And let's not kid ourselves like they weren't getting paid back then too. So maybe not to the degree because the TV contracts weren't as insane, but still getting him back, absolutely gigantic. Getting first off, Rasir Bolton, I think, was the first guy to announce he was coming back. I kind of thought he would, but still he was on the fence. Then I think like a day or two later, Julian Strawther announced he was coming back. Then Drew Timme announced he was coming back, which a lot of people had Timme gone. And then Malachi Smith, if you watch SoCon basketball, which we love SoCon basketball on the College Basketball Experience, announces he's transferring. And Efton Reid, a 4-star at LSU, announced he's transferring. And holy shit, what do you have here? You have a really good team here. And I'm not even, there's some players coming back that I haven't even got to. But what an offseason for Gonzaga fans. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The NIL struck gold for them with Drew Timme, and then you bring the other guys back, Strother as well, Watson, Bolton's coming back. You mentioned it. This team is going to be really, really good, and they have a lot of size. They're good offensively, and they can make shots. I mean, they got multiple guys that are 38+% from three, and obviously that's very good, including their big man who can stretch it as well as be a playmaker in a point forward kind of role. Yeah.
I mean, Nolan Hickman is back. I mean, we're gonna have to break down what we think the starting five would be. But yeah, Anton Watson's back. Hunter Solis is back. I mean, this team is loaded. Bringing in Braden Huff, the freshman, the 6'10" freshman. I mean, I'm very excited to catch the Zags this season, as really it's been every year for like the past 25 years, I feel like. But before we get to projecting the starting five, let me tell you folks out there that the College Basketball Experience Gonzaga Bulldogs 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBet. Bet $100 at WynnBet and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. And we're also brought to you by, us, the College Basketball Experience. We're on YouTube. And by the way, when the season tips on November 7th, just like years before, you will hear us every single night handicapping games. But not only, I mean, yes, we've been fantastic. We've never had a losing season, ATS, picking every single game, by the way. But also, we are lovers of college basketball. So we will talk about, what are the best games to watch each night? It's not 100% gambling or everything 100% gambling related. Yes. A lot of it is because we're trying to make you money and we think we have proof that we know what the fuck we're talking about. But also we like to talk about the matchups, the rivalries, the traditions, what makes college basketball so great, the conference races, all that good stuff. If you're not huge into college basketball, but you're trying to, and maybe you find it overwhelming, I think this is a perfect avenue, the College Basketball Experience. So subscribe to that podcast. Also subscribe to the College Football Experience, because we do that as well with college football. Gonzaga, we're waiting for you to start up your football program again. I know it went away. It went away for a while, right? But it's time to bring it back in the NIL era. Let's go. But we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. And, we're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So right now on YouTube, the Sports Gambling Podcast is giving you a chance to win your choice of either an autographed Lawrence Taylor jersey or an autographed Brian Dawkins jersey. The contest is completely free to enter. Subscribe at youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. Comment on a video. Each video is a new chance to win. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss SGP contacting you when they pull out the winner. So do that. And also, if you're a baseball fan, make sure to check out our World Series prop contest. Winner gets $200 cash and a $200 SGPN gift card to the merch store. Enter today exclusively on the SGPN app. So, all right, we are back talking Gonzaga Bulldog basketball, and projecting the starting five actually might be interesting this year. I feel like it's kind of an easier process with Gonzaga, but I'm going to say Nolan Hickman will be the 1. Rasir Bolton will be the 2. Malachi Smith will be the 3. Julian Strother. I could see Anton Watson starting.
Yeah.
Could you see that scenario where Watson perhaps starts? I mean, they'll probably go Strother and Timme at the 5, but could you see them maybe? I mean, is there any chance Efton Reid could get, if they're going up maybe against some taller teams? Could they go with a couple? I mean, I guess Strother's 6'7", so he's still, yeah. So I'm thinking Hickman, Bolton, Smith, Strother, and Timme would be the starting 5. What do you think?
Yeah, or they could slide Bolton back to the 1. He was familiar with that last year playing that role and slide Malachi Smith to the 2, and then you could put Watson in with Strother at the 3-4 to pair with Timmy. I mean, what I'm making out of this is they got a lot of different ways they can play. They can play big, they can play small, they can score inside, outside. This is a very, very good roster. They got about 6-7 starters, but there's only 5 spots, of course.
It'll be interesting to watch though the Efton Reid situation. 7-footer, he was just a freshman in Baton Rouge. The main reason why I say that is Chet Holmgren was such a rim protector, and I think that really helped their defensive numbers. Was his wingspan. Chet Holmgren was unbelievable wingspan, and I think that if there's one thing perhaps that this team might lack, it might be that. We'll see, but. Yeah, I mean, I think that starting 5 is pretty damn good, and their versatility. I mean, I feel like they're like 9-10 deep now. So I really think if you're a Zags fan, you got to be loving 2022-23. Let's hop into the schedule. Fuck it, let's go. On November 7th, the season opens with the bang because the Ospreys of North Florida are coming into McCarthy Athletic Center. This line, I imagine, will be in the 30s.
Yeah,
maybe 29. You could talk me into, but they roll. I think the Ospreys. Sorry, Ospreys. What are you doing there?
So 10 years ago, Hugs and his team took their team out there for an opener, the midnight tip off the marathon, and they beat our ass so bad out there in Spokane. That place is unbelievable, especially on opening night. Yeah, I can't wait to preview this, but they are going to annihilate North Florida.
Yeah. And then you have just a couple days later on the 11th. So that Friday, you have the battleship game. All right, you sank my battleship. This is Michigan State taking on Gonzaga on a destroyer. Like, I'm not fucking like, I mean, if folks, I mean, I feel like you guys know in college basketball, they do this game. Well, I guess pre-COVID, they would do this thing quite often. I feel like, I mean, I've always wondered what that would be like to play a game of basketball on a battleship. You know what I mean? I mean,
it's like playing horse. That in your backyard, you got to account for the wind. Is it going to the east, west, northwest? You know,
I've been on multiple battleships, but they weren't moving. So maybe, and I guess I know this one's not moving. So, I couldn't feel it moving. So it was like I was on the land, even though it was technically on water. So I think, okay, maybe I'm making too much of it. Maybe it's easy. And maybe they just destroy Michigan State and Tom Izzo. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they could play this game anywhere. They're going to beat Michigan State. Michigan State's good, but not Gonzaga level.
Yeah. Then, man, this schedule's awesome. Obviously, they got to stay aggressive out of conference because the WCC doesn't get the respect it deserves. I'm not saying the WCC is anywhere near like the Power 5 conferences, but well, actually, I am. I think a lot of years it is better than the Pac-12. So a lot of years of late, they've been pretty damn good. Then they head to Austin, Texas to take on, the Longhorns and Chris Beard, and they smoked Texas last year at the Kennel. I think that was. I got them beating Texas in Texas. Do you got the upset?
I got the Big 12. I got the Longhorns avenging their beatdown loss last year. So hook them in that matchup for me.
You know, I can't root for Texas. All right.
I hate Texas too, but I like their team. I like their roster.
Yeah. Now this one, and shame on, I'm still mad at John Calipari saying, "Oh, we can't play at the Kennel. We got to play at the Spokane Arena."
Coward.
Fuck you. Part of the things that make college basketball so great are Cameron Indoor Stadium and the Kennel, places like that. But still, just for that, he's going to go up to Spokane. You got your Oscar Toshiba. You got all these guys. They're going to lose to Gonzaga because that's a far trip, but it's going to be a damn good game. And I can't wait to watch it on November 20th. Look at those games. North Florida should be honored to be among those top 4 teams. Or there's other 3 opponents: Michigan State, Texas, and Kentucky. I mean, how many Final Fours Texas only got one really in my lifetime, I think, but Michigan State and Kentucky certainly blue bloods. What do you got their record after November 20th?
They're going to kick Kentucky's ass. Anytime any of those blue bloods go up to Gonzaga, they come out with an L. So yeah, I think even though they're not playing it on campus, Gonzaga I'm going to say 10.
There we go. Then comes the Phil Knight legacy, which is awesome this year, and you got to think the Zags will have quite the advantage because Portland. I mean, I know there's Western states are gigantic because I've driven all these states, but I still feel like, this is going to be a Gonzaga crowd.
No doubt.
And they take on the Vikings of Portland State at Veterans Memorial Coliseum on on Thanksgiving. This will be another 30-point spread, and I think they'll handle biz against the Vikings. How about yourself?
Yeah, no, I got them over Portland State.
Then they does it get a little fun here? Purdue or West Virginia? And like I alluded to at the beginning of this episode, Ryan here most recently worked for Bob Huggins at West Virginia. So let's say they play Purdue.
Yeah, no, I giving me the Kirk Herbstreit treatment there. I like it in honor of Thursday Night Football right now. I think they beat Purdue here. I
do too. I think it's a bad matchup for Purdue. I think it's a bad match. Maybe with Jaden Ivey, things a bit different, but I still don't think so. So dude, I have this team undefeated, and then obviously they get one more opponent in that Phil Knight Legacy Tour or tournament on November 27th, Sunday, November 27th. We don't know who that is. We know it's a good team, but
it could be Duke, it could be Xavier. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: after the month of November, do you have them with more than one loss? Because I know you have one in Austin.
No, I one loss. I think they're going to beat Duke in the finals in the PK Classic.
I got them undefeated. I think experience pays off. I don't think Texas is as experienced. I don't think Kentucky's as experienced, and the fact that it's in the state of Washington. I give the edge to the Zags there. So then comes a game in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Why couldn't we play this in Waco? Look, I get it. I'm glad this game's on the schedule, but come on, give us the home and home. One in Waco, one in Spokane. Come on. A rematch of the national championship. 2 years ago? Baylor taking on at the Sanford Pentagon. I don't know why it's called that, but this is where they get caught. I got Baylor pulling off the upset here.
Yeah, same. I'm riding the Big 12 with another win over Gonzaga. So I got them with 2 losses. You got them with 1.
And then they take on Kent State. Kent State's a decent mid-major. So, Zag should be fine handling this one, but Kent State actually keeps a decent program. So wouldn't be surprised if this spread was like, I don't know, somewhere around 15 or 16, 14, 15, something like that. But I got them taking care of Kent State. You?
Yes. Sincere carry at Kent State, named to watch going forward in Maction.
Yes.
So, we got to drop a little Maction in mid-major hoops. It's season's here in 10 days, baby.
Yes.
But, give me the Zags.
Great reference there. And then they have the matchup a couple of years ago. This was a great game. The Washington Huskies they've been a disappointing team for like the way they've been recruiting or hitting the portal every year. I feel like over the past 3 or 4 years, they've been awful, but I do remember watching, I think Gonzaga and Washington play, might've been like opening week or two a couple of years ago. And it was actually like, it came down to the final couple of minutes of the game. They're going to roll Washington. They lost Emmett Matthews. They back to Dub V. I just don't think this team. I think really they would have fired Hopkins had his contract not been so big. So, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I think they're going to roll Washington. Washington doesn't have enough to keep up with the Zags.
Then they get Northern Illinois at McCarthy Athletic Center. Hey, shout out to the MAC scheduling here. Northern Illinois is not good. They're going to roll Northern Illinois. I do think they're getting better. Coaching changed about a year and a half ago. But this is not a contest, right?
No. Like you said, shout out to the Maction, but yeah, give me the Zags.
Then the CM Newton Classic on Saturday, December 17th. This game should be fun in Birmingham, Alabama. Why couldn't this be in Tuscaloosa? You bother me. You fucking bother me, athletic directors. But it's in Birmingham, Legacy Arena. I'll tell you this much. This is going to be they were 5th in pace last season. Gonzaga was. I think
Bama beat them last year.
Yeah, I think Bama was first or second. That was in Seattle too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was at the old Supersonics.
Yeah, this is a revenge spot. I gotta take Zags. Then they're gonna have this one circled.
Yep, I'm with you. Revenge angle. Give me the Zags.
Then they get the Montana Grizzlies in the Big Sky. Shout out to the Big Sky Conference. Love some Big Sky basketball. But Montana's got to go into Spokane. That ain't gonna work out. Grizz are gonna get destroyed. And then they get a D2 school, Eastern Oregon. I mean, come on.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, yeah. Just ridiculous. Then conference play starts. So let's just pick the first conference game because that ends the 2022 segment. They get the Pepperdine. What is this? They're right next to my house. The Waves, I believe, right? Yes. I live like 20 minutes from Pepperdine, and
Malibu. Yep.
Yeah, I'm in Santa Monica, so like it's just right there, and I still haven't gone to a game. I think this year I might have to go. That's gonna be a blowout win. Spread will be like 20, 25. So I got this team with 1 loss heading into 2023. You have them at 2, correct?
Yeah, and Colby, let me ask you this: is this the most difficult that they've ever scheduled in the non-conference? I mean, you get Michigan State,
think so.
Texas, Kentucky, Baylor, Washington, Alabama, potentially Duke in the finals, and then maybe Purdue or West Virginia. I mean, this is as good as I can ever remember Gonzaga's scheduling.
I agree. And I think by far, I mean, think about that. If they get Duke, Michigan State, Kentucky, Texas, Baylor.
Yes.
I mean, that's incredible. And
Alabama.
They have the team to do it though. Yeah. And Alabama too, who's emerged as a good team lately. Let's talk 2023. But before I do that, let me get us paid. I want to tell you folks out there that the college basketball experience, Gonzaga Bulldogs 2022-23 season previews brought to you by No House Advantage. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play and pickup contest versus other people for shot at winning $250K in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb up that leaderboard for your shot to win big money every single day. You can also test your skills versus the house and win 20 times the amount of money you enter if you hit all your picks. You can bet on up to 5 player prop over and unders or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with the promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app at the App Store to get a first deposit match of up to $25. Make sure you check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined. All right. You know, it's different going through the WCC. You know, I do think this conference is better than the public perception. I really do. However, I think they're going to take a hit after this year when BYU leaves after this year for the Big 12. And that's what's funny too. Last offseason, I read some speculation that Gonzaga could be a part of the Big East eventually. Wouldn't that be wild?
It'd be great, especially travel wise.
Yeah. Hey, fuck it. USC's in the Big 10 now.
Yes.
UCLA's in the Big 10. So stupid. Let's try to find the 3-game stretch because they lost 1 conference game and that was to St. Mary's last year, right? Or San Francisco, St. Mary's, I believe. I guess I see one that jumps out already, but no, not really because those two. See, this is a nice schedule because you're looking for the road spots, in my opinion. I actually think their toughest schedule, their toughest part, and I'm curious what you would say here. I think it's January 5th to January 12th.
Yeah, because all 3 are on the road. And I mean, San Fran, we've seen that. They keep a good program. They went to the NCAA tournament last year. Santa Clara, they're okay. And
Herb
then
Sendek, they're talented. Yeah.
And BYU's BYU. And I mean, with this league, you're always we know which opponent you're looking for. When you think of Gonzaga, and conference play, you're like, all right, when do they play St. Mary's? Because St. Mary's seems to be the only one, other than maybe BYU every blue moon, where they can pull an upset.
Pull it off.
Yeah.
Their other stretch of February 4th at St. Mary's, then home to San Francisco, then home to BYU. The problem is they're so good at home. You don't think those San Francisco and BYU games would be that close, but you have the St. Mary's matchup. And then, where is their matchup? So they only get San Diego once. Okay. I was going to say, and they don't go to San Diego. Steve Lavin taking over San Diego. I do think they're way more talented from a roster standpoint than they've been in some time with some of those transfers they got, but they don't even have to go. They host San Diego. They don't even have to go down to San Diego. So I think they'll be fine there. How many losses do you think for the season?
2. I think they're going to run through the West Coast this year. I don't think St. Mary's is as good this year as they were last year. And then obviously
Golden left San Francisco. Yeah. So
maybe one.
Yeah.
At the most.
The odds to win the WCC minus 1,600. That's hilarious. That's just absolutely hilarious. Bet it.
Yeah,
you got
a lock.
Bet it. That is a lock. That's the regular season conference winner, folks. So we both have them winning the WCC. Let's go to the tournament. What's a disappointing season?
I think you have to at least, with this team, last year was disappointing, Sweet 16. So I think at least at minimal the Elite 8. I think the expectations are the Final Four with where this program has been. And you mentioned it with this unit. I mean, they're as talented as ever, but they're also as old as ever and experienced with size. So I think this might be the year they get over the hump and win it all.
I think they're definitely going to be a Final Four team this year. So I think anything short of the Final Four is disappointing. I think, a good season is winning the national championship. I mean, or getting there.
They need to get back to the Final Four, especially with the Arkansas upset last year, ending their run prematurely.
Yeah. It's got to be great to watch those out of conference games, even some of those great conference games. Fucking great to watch, and I'm excited. Folks, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Like I said, available where any spot you listen to podcasts at. And when the season starts, you'll hear us every single night talking best games, best matchups. It's you got to do it. Check it out. Also check out the College Football Experience. Remember, Gonzaga, start your football program, and we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Subscribe over there. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Yes, I think it started it all. All right. Go over there, check it out. Obviously we've had so many great guests over there, whether it's Bill Burr, whether it's Joe Theismann. I mean, basketball wise, we've had Steve Lavin. Just talked about San Diego. He's been on the show before. Jay Billis has been on the show. So check it out. Check out the SGPN network. Get the app in the App Store and Google Play Store. Come talk Gonzaga hoops with us. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. And remember, really, you got to check out all of Ryan McIntyre's work here. Give him a follow on Twitter at moneyline_Mac. He's got the Ryan and Rush drop right now behind him. If you're watching on YouTube, check out that show. Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast, and you'll hear him here all the time. So subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. We're on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give us all a follow. Cannot wait for the season, man. Really cannot wait for the season, and to see what's next. See if Mark Few can finally get it together. So until then, let's just have a wonderful, wonderful next 2 weeks. And cannot wait for hoops. Let's go. This is the College Basketball Experience, Gonzaga Bulldog style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Thank you. Well, that's a great way to get started. And I haven't even watched all my games yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple. But they didn't.
What the fuck Did I do wrong, Tom? Change speed, for Christ's sake. And you're nothing but a chameleon, a lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're gonna pay for it. Good night.